I would say pay tribute, but you despise the bloke.
I don't hate him like that. It's just weird. It's still that same situation where I feel like you're trying to convince me to like someone that I don't really like. I'm just like, the guy's weird, man. Look at his face.
It's like I've got a friend who's been a bit of a cunt to you, but he's a nice guy.
He's changed, man. He's changed. Honestly, everyone loves him now. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not enough for me. Yeah.
I know he's racist, but like, he likes you. He really likes you.
But yeah. So like, it's the verdict's still out on the Miz. All right, I'll watch some more Miz.
That's fine.
Although you told me not to watch his matches, which is even more confusing.
Not on the microphone, I didn't say it, but yes. He's an okay wrestler. Good on the mic, great character worker. But he's not the topic of today. Today, we got something a little bit juicier.
I do know the subject, but I'm interested. I'm interested where this is going because this isn't even just like one person. This is a whole stable.
Yeah, and all three of them have a better...
Yeah.
I'm going to say better careers, are better on the mic, better in the ring, and together they made possibly, short-lasted as it was, the best stable of all time.
Yeah, I keep hearing this. So it's the Shield.
It is the Shield.
I know this much, and they are, I suppose, as someone who's been out for more for the better part of a decade, they are probably one of the more I suppose influential and like popular stables in the last 10 years. I come from the era of like DX and the Hardy Boys and even NWO. Like those were the best stables. Nowadays, maybe people talk about the Shield. I'm like, who the fuck are the Shield? And I actually do recall them being a thing when I'm on my second coming. I'm calling it my second coming like I'm Christ. On my second, rewatching or sort of like revival of wrestling when I was in university, and I sort of recall seeing these guys at the Shield. And I'll be honest, as someone who was very much on the outside, sort of, trying to be a bit of a smark about it, looking at the situation, I was like, okay, so what? These are the guys, they've just come in, they're that disruptive force that come in and batter everyone. No one can beat them. Like, look at them, they're wearing fucking bulletproof like vest or some shit, whatever the fuck. That's all I saw. I didn't take any of their names at the time. I saw the gimmick and I was like, yeah, all right, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, are they actually good? And obviously, I didn't actually pay them any respect or time to actually find out if they were good or what happened to any of them. I didn't even realize that, now having learned a bit more about who was in the Shield, who they were at the time. Like, you heard me before say, like, around that time, I remember being like, who the fuck is Roman Reigns? Not realizing he was one of the people from the Shield. And
he's the guy.
yeah. But yeah, like, please divulge, because like I said, I can name the three members of the Shield.
Do it.
So, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose.
Yeah. John Moxley. Yeah, the snobs will get you.
Yeah, John Moxley. Wait, what was it? So Dean Ambrose.
He was a caricature.
Dean Ambrose is the kayfabe, essentially, although he is going by John Moxley now. Right?
Yeah,
his real name.
It's the WWE version. It was the family friendly, silly little sausage version of John Moxley, who is the deathmatch fighter.
Yeah.
And they were all sort of, whether they started there or whether they came up and through the ranks, they were all in NXT at the time. This was NXT.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize they were all part of NXT.
Yeah. Seth Rollins was originally, I think, possibly the second ever NXT champion.
Damn.
Came from Ring of Honor as Tyler Black, which is a way cooler name.
Ring of Honor, I'll be honest with you, Ring of Honor is like, it's up there like in the mythos for me. Like, I know the name Ring of Honor. I know that it's like one of the, people say indie, but it's almost like, it's, if anything, I feel like it's a, what's the term? It's almost like a rite of passage, like in the indie circuit. It's like, because the indie circuit is huge. There's many independent promos, but like, if you hit Ring of Honor and then went NXT, it's like, that's like, you're probably special. If that's in your fucking story, like, want some Ring of Honor, then NXT and the developmental. It's like, then WWE champion,
Of course, you're in Ring of Honor. That's not fair. It was the major leagues of the minor leagues.
Yeah.
Like,
if anything,
the snobs major leagues.
That's how I've learned to understand Ring of Honor. Like, not that I'm throwing any shade of it at it, but it seems to be like, it's seen as like the underdogs, but really, if you got in there, it's almost like you're likely to go big time if you're in Ring of Honor, at least by the sounds of it.
Your scats are really good, which means you'll be all right. But that was Seth Rollins. Lots of viral clips of him flipping off fat guys. The standard indie fan.
This is before the two-tone hair. Before he looked like a male rogue from X-Men.
I'm not enough of it. I am enough of a nerd. I'm a fake nerd. That's why I am.
You get the reference.
Sadly, yes, but I don't get any other X-Men reference you throw at me.
We'll get there.
Baby steps. Just wait till our spin-off series, X-Men.
Why are we mutants?
This is going to end up as like a really like sort of sad, depressive divulge into like racism, as X-Men was. But obviously you got Dean Ambrose, came from a background of death matches, pink hair.
That pink hair. You know that for however I animate this, I'm going to put Goku Black up for this.
Good. Good. I feel like the outsiders will kind of like him more than the real Dean Ambrose, actually.
I'm going to put Goku Black with Dean Ambrose's face on it, with the stance like this. With the fucking earrings and the pink fucking Super Saiyan Rose, what the fuck they called it.
But that's literally Dean Ambrose. It was Goku Black, but with like a barbed wire chair.
Literally piecing it together now. I'm seeing the image.
This is the closest you're going to get to understanding the Shield through this entire story.
No, it's very painting the picture. I'm thinking of them all as like actual baby faces, not like baby faces, but like when they were young. Because I've seen pictures of them when they're young. I've actually got like a rough idea of like what they look like. I've seen all
sprogs.
of them. I've seen Seth and Roman. And then by Roman, I've seen that one picture they always show of him in the NFL, where he looks weirdly chubby.
Yeah, the same, but chubby and smooth.
Literally.
And he had the old teeth.
Way more like Rosie as well than he does now.
Yeah.
Because they brothers.
You'd never believe it.
Someone came back in time when I was a kid and said, like, you see that guy running around with the hurricane doing the dumbest shit? Yeah, his brother's going to be one of the longest running world heavyweight champions of all time.
His brother's the GOAT. He's goated.
I'd be like, who? He's not in wrestling yet. But he will be.
You have to boo him for 7 years before he gets good.
Don't worry about it. A whole pandemic will happen too. A what?
Anyway, have you seen Donald Trump? Look at him.
Time machines would be dangerous, man.
Yeah, it's been a wild few years, but that's Dean. He was the wild card, I suppose you could say. And then you got Roman. Roman was very much WWE through and through. He was obviously the family, as we can see now.
He's about the Anoa'i. I know why. That word people are so proud of themselves being able to say because it's got a fucking apostrophe in it.
In fairness, I was waiting for you to say it before I tried to say it. So
I'm African. I can say this shit. I know why. It was funny because I remember like after after like a year of me finding out about Roman Reigns, because like for me it was just like, yeah, he's like The Rock now, and I'm like, who? Roman Reigns. I'm like, which I think we need to get into this. I know this is the middle of a segment already, but we need to do a segment on wrestlers' names, man, because I've got a whole bit about what happened to the cool names, man. What happened, bro? Like, people used to have cool names. People's names suck now. They all just have fucking construction workers' names. All of them.
Barry Bradle on his way to the ring.
Literally, like, we could put up a roster. I'm getting into it already. Like, back to Roman. You're thinking, does he have a point?
I'm listening to Austin Theory in my head.
That's like the most thematic name left. What happened?
But
bro?
at the same time,
There's no one called like Stone Cold Steve Austin anymore. The Rock Triple H. Like, what does that even mean? It doesn't matter. It's a
it
wrestling
means
name.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley because he was the Blue Blood.
Which isn't even his fucking name.
No, he's Paul. That's
Name is
Paul.
But my point is, now you just got like, even the people that are still left, the people that had the normal names, like Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar. Yes, Brock Lesnar is a weird made-up name, but it's still just like, man's name is Brock. Like, come on. Like, Cody Rhodes. Like, Roman Reigns.
But
like,
at the same time, Cody Rhodes, that's shit. Oh, Dusty Rhodes, daddy. Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes sounds cool. It sounds redneck as fuck.
You can scream it in a JR voice. And that's the sign of a good name.
No, like, the Undertaker. Like, there's no one that has a the something name anymore. What happened?
Alistair Black. Oh, we hit him with the black mass. Oh, go on, Alistair.
Literally, what happened to the cool names? I feel like the tangents happened now. I've had the rant. The cool names have gone from wrestling, man. Everyone's just taking normal. But what's even more annoying is they're taking normal names that aren't their real names. I'm like, what? Did you just go into a white name generator and just found something? It's like, yeah,
The Skyrim name generator.
that'll be my fucking name for wrestling.
You know what will get me over? Having an even less cool name than my real one.
It's like, yeah, what sounds super white that could be a wrestler? I know, Braun Strowman.
Brown Strongman.
Like, what the fuck, man? Literally, the most entertaining name currently in wrestling is Ricochet. Like, how is that the case?
But even then, I take the piss out of it. I call him Rick O'Shea. He's an Irishman. Dare he be?
No, I'm giving it to him for the commitment. Man's name is Ricochet, and it makes sense because he bounces around. Cool, Ricochet. Go wrestle. I don't know, I'm trying to think of the most boring name I can fucking think of right now that actually exists. And honestly, the
They're
only
all
one,
so boring.
it's all Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is the most boring name the whitest name I could think of right now. And he's one of the most over people in wrestling.
Because he's so good.
It's like, yeah, go back 20 years. Who's the most popular person in wrestling? Oh, a man called Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah, the Steve Austin part is boring, but at least they added the Stone Cold. Now it would just be Steve Austin.
It would be Stephen Austin.
But yeah, he's sick, man. He's got his move called the Stunner. But yeah, but his name's called Stephen Austin.
That's why it's the Stone Cold Stunner.
It's like, fuck, man. Anyway, Roman Reigns, which is somewhat cool and thematic. And I know it's not his real name.
Feels like a pun.
Man's name is Joe.
Oh, he's the champion. He's Roman Reigns. That's what he does. He reigns. It's his day job. Don't have a go at him. He's clocking off in a minute. He'll be all right.
Even Seth had to add the frickin' just to make it more interesting. It's Seth frickin' Rollins, actually.
He's gonna do a really exciting. Whoa!
That is dope, though. I can't lie. Like, I made fun of the woeing stuff, but like his theme is fucking badass.
It is dope.
Like, that would win. If that existed for anyone in like the early 2000s, yeah, they would have been undisputed champion first before anyone. Fuck everyone.
12-year
If
reign.
you can get the entire fucking arena to be chanting "Whoa!" Like, yeah, you are the most over superstar in the world, and that's what I mean about the song makes the man. But before the song, I have heard the Shield's theme. Only because I saw a thing making fun of all of them, or one of them. Maybe it was Roman.
It was Roman because he had the theme for about 5 years after they broke up.
Well, no, it was that he didn't know that they were spelling Shield using the phonetic alphabet.
What, with the Sierra Hotel?
Yeah.
Did he not know that?
One of them didn't realize that it was spelling the Sierra Hotel Indigo was spelling Shield. They didn't know. And I was like, that's embarrassing. Like, how were you were in a recording studio and no one even explained it to you, or you couldn't figure that out when it was written down.
Why would they be saying it? We're gonna get
Listen.
basis. What's your
not
favorite
in
word?
wrestling because
Sierra.
they're really smart.
No, they might be smart marks, but
But yeah, I feel like from what I'm saying, it makes it that I know a lot. I genuinely don't. I only know this sort of like post information. Like, I have avoided a lot of stuff just because I know there's gonna be a lot of people that you're gonna explain to me. So like, I don't know that origin story. That's the truth. I don't really know. I know the theme a little bit, and I remember the theme from what I recall was just like basic, something like that.
That's spot on. It's generic in a way that kind of suited them, because they came out and they just laid waste to shit. And it's like, if you get the most generic, if you get like a really in-depth thing and you just bop in your head, it's like, no, put the song back on. I don't care what you're doing.
So what was their sort of, because I know like, you know, most people have like interesting debuts. Did they debut as all three, or did they debut? They debuted.
They came onto the main roster, and they came together wearing like the black,
wearing the bulletproof vests.
It was just vests to begin with. They had to level up a few times, like Jason X.
It was just plain vests.
Plain vests. They weren't that good then, but they ripped the ring apart. I'm trying to think who they attacked.
What? They ripped the ring apart?
Yeah. They just tore shit to shreds. They
came in and threw a tantrum. Did they say anything?
No, and that was what was cool.
Started just fucking
Yeah.
ripping off the ring.
Gotcha. Come here.
Fuck this ring.
It's not even a real circle. Come here. But after that first one, they spent quite a while attacking CM Punk's enemies. Out of context, sounds very Roman Empire-esque.
Oh wait, is this because you gotta run with me? Like, again, as we've mentioned, I missed a lot. I know the titles. I can almost like name runs, but I don't actually know anything. I don't know the substance. It's almost like I'm on the surface. Is this Pipe Bomb CM Punk?
It's the very next Punk. There were a lot of punks in that era. It was.
Punks. Is this the?
This is the 434-day title run. CM Punk.
Okay, is that the same as, what is it? Like, I don't know, when he was shaving someone's head.
No, we're gonna do a full CM Punk.
We do, because I like my knowledge of CM Punk is just all over the place.
I think you'd love him. I think you'd love.
I feel like I would like. Man fucking came out to Cult of Personality. What a song! What a fucking tune! And before that, he came out to fucking, what is it? Kill Switch
Engage.
Yeah, fucking what a badass! Like,
fucking
the theme makes the man.
Yeah,
you come out to two sick bands. I'm gonna love you.
Fucking black rock music representative, CM Punk. He was on a show the other day, and after it was Collision, I think. After the show, he's like, "Trans lives matter because I can say so." And it's like, how can I not love you?
Come on, this little fucking tattooed white man's a little woke warrior. Gotta love him.
He loves Pepsi and he loves trans people. How can I not love him?
Look in my eyes.
What do you see?
Anyway, this ain't about CM. This is about the Shield. So sorry. So they came out and what year was this? When did they actually debut?
This would have been. I think it would have been 2012. I think the very early doors would have been 2012 because it happened around the time of Ryback, who we don't talk about because he's an embarrassment. And he'll, even if we get 7 views on this podcast, he'll be one of them. And he'll be in the comment section and say, "You guys are shit. You don't know the business."
Is Ryback the one who looks like some weird fucked up like attempted cloning or like mishmash like splicing of Brock and Goldberg?
Yes,
that went horribly wrong.
It is.
I love your excitement at how I described that. Is that bang on?
It's spot on. And it's also because I despise Ryback with
like
every fibre of me.
Vince was like, get me Goldberg's blood and Brock's hair. We're gonna make a new star.
And then they come out of the machines. Oh no, they're too good. Put the Fly in there with them. And the most talentless bald man in the world comes out.
It's like, I'm sorry, Vince, it's going to squash everybody. Well, then, take out all his personality. No, he never had any to begin with.
No. He just wore the MMA gloves. That was it. But
I feel so bad, because, you know, it might turn out this man's, like, I don't know, got a fucking degree in, like, medicine or something.
No, Ryback's worthless.
Listen, I'm scared, okay? I want to cross this man in the street and be like, "Hey, you're one of those fucking smarks," and then he just like punches my head off my body.
He would knock you the fuck out. Let alone what he do to me.
He's a clone of Brock Lesnar and Goldberg.
Yeah. If you jackhammer the fuck out of you and be like, wait, that's not my gimmick. What is my gimmick? Oh, wait, I'm a cunt. That's what my gimmick is.
Like, what do you do if he can't get over and like be a wrestler? What the fuck does he do with his life? What's he doing right now?
Commenting on TikToks. That's what he's doing. Do you remember Ryback?
How does he do that without putting his thumb through a phone screen?
He just licks it. Just lick the screen.
Space mashes it. Feels no pain. I keep trying to take us back because we're gonna hit that 4-hour mark.
I can't wait.
So
I'll pull a sickie tomorrow. Fuck it.
2012. So for me, I think that was probably a good time, like, because by the time I got back into wrestling, would put him at 2013. I say back in because, like I said, I didn't watch, but I was
dipping your toes in.
Yeah, dipping my toes in, finding out new names, and I think about 2013, early 2014 was when I would have like started seeing the name Roman Reigns. Maybe a year or so after that, I sort of saw the name Seth Rollins, like that seems dumb, and ignored it, and then only got back onto Seth and Dean about in the last years when like they got into my radar. Like, you know, it was like they were so like over that you couldn't ignore their names. So like I was seeing their names a lot. I'm like, okay, who the fuck are these guys? I looked at them. I see like, you know, I saw the fucking Bulletproof vest. I was like, this looks
they
fucking
look really dumb,
weird. But yeah, no, please continue. I want to know the story angle. What was their story? So they're coming and fuck shit up. Like, where did that go?
Well, it went in terms of their nickname was the Hounds of Justice. They were just there in a post Game of Thrones world. That sounds fucking embarrassing. But they would just go in and sort people out and make sure things were right. And
isn't that exactly what the Judgment Day were doing?
Yeah, but they have Dom. You can't like the Judgment Day when they've got Dom.
Dom and a loudmouth Irishman. Wait, where's Finn Balor from?
He's Irish.
Yeah.
He's also like 45, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I was very shocked by that. Fair play to Finn.
Yeah. I mean, he covers the hairline very well.
I know we're going a bit of a tangent, but like, you know, just to cover Finn Balor, someone I didn't really know about, but isn't he like literally like one of the OG UK indie heroes?
Yes. He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And he deserves so much better than
which
what
is why
WWE's
like
given him.
he was like brought into WWE, sort of put over a bit because they're like, okay, the UK fans will fucking destroy us if we don't put this guy over.
Yeah.
And it was a time where they're like, we're trying to acknowledge the UK.
Lucky for them, we're not going to do that next Sunday. No, sorry, next Saturday. Because Seth is great.
Yeah, if Finn wins, you fucked up.
Yeah, Seth's too good.
Don't end Seth's reign now. If you end Seth's reign now, we might just... Everyone would have switched to, like, I don't know, AEW. Everyone switched. And listen, you fucked us around. You didn't end Roman's reign when we wanted to end. And then you took Seth's title away. This suit, fuck you. We're out. We're out. Bye-bye.
It's fine because we know they're not going to take it away this Saturday. Sorry, next Saturday. Because they're going to wait and then they're going to give it to Roman. Roman's going to have all 3 belts.
That's insane. Insane.
Yeah. I hate it. I hate it with every fibre of my being.
He's not going to have all 3.
Oh, yeah, because they merge it. He's going to have both of them. He's going to have 2 of them.
Isn't he literally rocking 3 at the moment?
Yeah.
I saw a picture and I was like, wait, so...
I think it's hilarious.
He's carrying the new title, but Heyman's carrying the old 2.
Yeah. Which is brilliant heel work.
It's like, what? But like, why don't the other 2 get to do that?
Because it's Roman. Just let Roman do what Roman does.
So let's go back to early Roman, before the unnecessary reign of terror. Roman reigns of terror.
I don't want to say Roman was the favourite, but there are always signs there that he was going to get the push. So as they went through it, they kind of it was all tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
In terms of what they were doing, they fought the fucking New Age Outlaws at WrestleMania for some fucking reason.
Wait, how? What? Like 2013, 2012?
Yeah, 2013.
So what? So, but you say, are you talking Billy and Road Dogg?
Yeah.
So these niggas were like 60.
I feel like Road Dogg would be really happy you called him that. I don't know why.
Sorry, okay, I'm drinking rum. Everyone's a nigger when I'm drinking rum.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, like I literally saw them at the Hall of Fame, and I was like, oh god, like
they're alive.
I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, Assman doesn't look good. Like,
he's wrestling in AEW
actually,
right
no,
now.
actually, I take that back. No, Billy Gunn looks the healthiest of DX, except for maybe Triple H, because fuck knows what Vince is feeding him. Vince is like, okay,
other than the heart
you're gonna
attack
run the
he got.
company, I'm gonna give you the fucking baby blood that I've been drinking for 1,000 years. I'm pretty sure Paul's not gonna. He's stopped aging. He's
Suck on the clit
like,
of the devil.
You go bold, and that's it. Like, that's it. You might get a bit of grey in the beard, but trust me, Paul, you'll be here for another 50 years looking the same somehow. You might even wrestle.
He's not wrestling, not with his heart.
I know. He's, maybe a bit more baby blood. A bit more baby blood. He'll be back.
A little bit more. There's another Reign of Terror in him somewhere.
So, yeah, I could come here. Maybe I'll be the one to beat Roman.
It is all about the game, in fairness.
I think that would officially get everyone to cancel WWE. If Triple H came out of retirement and ended Roman was the one. And he just comes out holding all 3 fucking belts, like one around his waist, does one last spit into the air. And everyone's like, nah, people just walk out of the arena. Like, fuck you.
Taking the piss now. Cody had already lost to Dom earlier in the night.
He only drops it to Sean coming back for some reason.
For some weird reason. He does think he's cute. I can't argue with that.
Sean is wonky ass eye. Not so sexy now, are you?
All done in a match with Kane. Where in the Shield story were we?
So, they fought the New Age Outlaws at WrestleMania. When, because obviously they hit a point where, like, obviously they all started to get a solo run. I know there was an I say this without knowing anything. I know there was a betrayal. Who betrayed them?
Have a guess.
Seth.
It was Seth, yes.
It looks like it'd be Seth. I was going to say Seth or Dean. Roman's, they were like, it'd be too late for Roman's villain angle. I feel like Roman only turned heel when now.
About 3 years ago, I'll say, with Roman. But no, Seth, I would call it the chair shot heard around the world.
Not the one on JBL?
Oh. That was the one literally heard around the world. This one was in the wrestling community, which was much smaller than it is now, I would like to think, because of how good wrestling is. Seth, he was the plan B. Batista, Evolution, all got beaten by the Shield. And how do we beat these guys?
Wait, I'm sorry.
Evolution came back.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
In fact, they were the people Daniel Bryan beat at WrestleMania to win the world title. He beat all the members of Evolution other than Ric Flair.
I was about to say, like, when you say Evolution, I was like, Ric Flair came back again?
No.
I was about to say, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it was bad enough Evolution days watching Ric Flair wrestle. Because
Be nice!
No, I will not be nice. I'm rewatching it now, and I'm like, this man, every poor motherfucker that had to wrestle Ric Flair in 2004 all had to do the same 4 spots with this man.
He was 67!
Why did he come back? He should.
Because he's Ric Flair!
They gave him and Batista the tag team titles!
Yeah! What are you going to do about it?
That was what was painful. I was like, poor Batista at this point, who should have just been a main eventer already.
No. He was
I'm sorry,
elevated.
I don't care that he couldn't talk. He
couldn't wrestle either!
His whole thing during Evolution was just coming in and powerbombing people. And I was like, nah, I can't with this man. I can't. But Ric Flair was even worse because he actually couldn't wrestle. People were saying on a technical level, Batista couldn't wrestle. Ric Flair physically couldn't. The most he could do was just about, and every time I'm like, even now I know he survived, but now I'm flinching watching him be thrown off the top turn. He'd get up there, it's like, oh, is he going to jump? No, of course he's not going to jump from the top rope. He hasn't got any fucking knees. He can't jump off the top rope. Someone needs to help him off the top rope. How do you do that? By flipping him off. He's going to fucking Irish whip. Or what's going to happen? They're going to flip him over. Yes. Because he can't do anything else.
Have you ever seen a 67-year-old man get flipped off a top turnbuckle? Do you know how amazing that would be to see in real life?
Yeah, but like 20 times over the course of 2 years. Because Evolution's run was long.
Yes, it was.
Most stables, you realize, don't actually, in your head, as a child, they lasted ages. Like, I went back to watch so many runs. I'm like, wow, that run was shorter than I remember. Like, I wanted to watch Kane RVD. It really wasn't that long.
It's like 3 months.
Evolution, on the other hand, went on for 2 years.
Well, if you define Evolution,
2
WrestleManias.
2 WrestleManias, they existed.
The racist one, and then the one where he fought The Rock.
The one where Benoit won,
yeah,
and then the one after. So 3 WrestleManias.
No.
Yes.
It ended. It
well,
ended.
no, Randy had left, but they were still together without Randy.
Yeah. So you had 19, which was the first one they were a group at, which was the racist one where he beat
The
Booker
racist
T.
one. I love it.
Yeah. This wholesome story of a black man triumphing over the racist institute. Oh, you lost. Oh, you were on the mat for 20 seconds. Still got pinned.
The big man who I think is Jewish, basically telling you that you're not the right kind for this sort of title.
You're not the right kind, kid.
Actually wins, proving his own point. Oh shit.
By the way, I was thinking about calling you Booker N.
Anyway, look, Ric Flair, everybody!
Yay! How the fuck did we get here?
We're talking about stables and the return of Evolution. So,
Yeah.
so for whatever reason, the Shield came back. The Evolution came back to fight the Shield. Now, this is an Evolution with what? Drax, Batista.
They didn't come back to fight the Shield. I will say that. They came back
Well, they were
because
already back.
Batista won the 2014 Royal Rumble. Out of nowhere.
Oh, I think I remember seeing this. Yes,
And he got booed.
was
He got
he-
booed out of the building.
was this was this a return entrance?
Yeah.
Oh wait, yeah. See, this
Yeah.
this is stuff that I
Because he
watching
came,
behind
he
the scenes.
came in the blue.
This is the one they wanted Daniel
Blue-tista.
Bryan to win.
No.
Is it not?
Oh, the fans, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, who else will talk about when I say they? They wanted
The powers that be.
They wanted
You know
Daniel
they
Bryan to come back and win, and he wasn't even in the Rumble. Which to me is sort of like, guys, get a grip.
Yes, which is what they did. They booed the fuck out of Rey Mysterio, who came 30. Poor bastard. But they just latched onto an up-and-coming superstar, who was Roman Reigns. And he got eliminated last. So Batista got booed the fuck out of that building.
Poor Batty boy.
Poor Batty boy. That's what I say whenever I see him. The best fucking wrestler turned actor in the world.
What, John Cena?
No, we're talking about Batista still. Oh, come
He's
on.
alright.
They're both really good.
Cena's
Anyone but The Rock. Anyone but Triple H in Blade 3.
Hey, we don't talk about Blade 3.
No one does.
Not just because of Triple H or Ryan Reynolds or Wesley Snipes.
Baby Ryan Reynolds.
It's none of their faults. It's none of their faults. Okay, Blade 3 just shouldn't have happened.
No, it shouldn't. And that's why we need to make sure we remember it.
Anyway.
After that, you had the whole Daniel Bryan sort of amazing storyline. You have that the only time Imagine Dragons were relevant with that package. And then after that Evolution, which was Triple H, Randy Orton, Batista storyline, they had to find a way to break the Shield down another way. And they found a plan B. And that plan B was Seth Rollins, who was always looking for a way to sell him out. And as soon as they said plan B, you could hear in the crowd, oh. Seth has the chair. Whacks. I think it was Roman over the back. And everyone's just like, oh my fucking God, it's over. And you have no idea how hard that hit. Because the Shields came as one unit. they were always just the Shield. And to see it break down in front of your eyes like that was mental.
Was it? I know I'm forcing a segue. I'm really sorry, but is it as heartbreaking as the time when like DX came back and then for some reason Triple H immediately pedigree Shawn Michaels and you're like, why? Like, why?
you know what I was saying about the creepy old man who did things? You know what I was saying about Vengeance, Raw and SmackDown? That was on that Raw. That was my childhood. That makes... because this one was a year and a half of build-up, whereas Shawn all of a sudden came back and, the boys are back together.
Instant betrayal. Why?
Yeah.
Why? I've been waiting for this my whole life.
I needed a reason to get back into wrestling.
And you fucked it. Why? Honestly, like, I realized just now, I don't think I'm over it. I don't. Why?
No.
It could have. Just a week of DX. No, not even. We're back. We're not.
Well, I mean, if you've seen 2006 DX, you realize it's a blessing in disguise. DX is awful. DX is shit.
But they could have been good. This was like a potential return of DX when they were like, it's like a second wind. I don't want to see ancient DX in fucking Saudi Arabia. No one wants to fucking see that anymore.
One does.
That's embarrassing. No one wants to see DX Brothers of Destruction. Oh, God. Like, why?
Ripping his mask
Why
off.
did we do that?
Bald Shawn Michaels.
Ugh. But, like, Shawn's back. We can actually do this again. Nah, fuck it. Reign of Terror time.
And he's going to be at the heart.
So tell me this went down better. Well, I know this went down better because I know where we are. I know where we are now.
Well, my golden seal is broken. So
it's all good.
If you could be a sweetheart and just pour me.
At what point did we get to? Because
it took a very. They had lots of Seth particularly had lots of character changes, but even that it took a long time because, in fairness to the bloke, he had you got the burn it down in his thing. Mm-hmm. Burn it down. That was the iconic part that's transitioned. But I would argue that his old theme song was just as good. You can't sing along with it, but it was incredible because it was just Lars Ulrich.
Was it actually Lars?
No, it was probably a better drummer.
Just a similar...
Could have been me.
Similar to one.
Hold my breath as I wish for Seth. But he was really the one who stood out because he was the main character for a lot of what was going on in the next year. He was the corporate sort of warrior. And while obviously
you said the word corporate and it triggered me because I'm like, was this when Kane came back?
Yeah. Corporate Kane. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a sad thing. I feel like someone sent me Corporate Kane because I was fully out of the loop again at this point. And someone sent me like just a clip or like an image of Corporate Kane, WWE, and I was like, what? And they knew that it was gonna.
That's why they did it, isn't it?
Make me cry. I'm like, what's happened? What's happened? Glenn, what are you doing, bro? Why are you in a suit? Why
he's wearing slacks?
He's in a suit, kayfabe. No.
And he's still got the pokey out belly. No. And he would just get embarrassed every week. We were talking about Ryback. There's a thing where he just gets mayonnaise and mustard and ketchup sprayed over him by Ryback. He didn't deserve it. He has awful political opinions, but he was a good wrestler. He was good. He was one of the best.
That's all right. I didn't see it, so it didn't happen.
You will see it.
I will. I know. One day I'm gonna be like watching some old shit, and it's gonna come up. I'm like, no, man.
You just can't look away. Only because I'm gonna make sure you see it. I'm gonna show you.
God. Yeah. Watching your heroes fall. Fuck, man. Fuck. So, yeah, so there was the corporate era.
There was the corporate era. And in fairness, the corporate era was shit, but Seth was the really good part of it. And this kind of extended into...
Was that him heel?
He was very much a heel. He was the main heel. in the company, I would argue. You had Brock, it was kind of that post streak ending era where he was sort of that ultimate
Suplex
motherfucker.
City.
Yeah. Suplex City.
This was Suplex City.
Shitty work. And
I haven't, do you know what? I haven't watched that match. But I think that was another thing that, like, you know, because I think wrestling was on my radar, the streak ended up, like, on my radar. And I was like, what? Brock Lesnar?
it shouldn't have happened.
They're doing it? They actually did it? And I was like, that's crazy. But yeah, this isn't about the streak. we can do the streak. I'm sure we'll do the streak when we run out of things.
We could do a whole podcast on the streak. I feel it'd be nice to do a rundown of all of his opponents during the streak.
Yeah.
Have a nice chat about Giant Gonzalez. But
and how I really thought. No, we'll talk about another time.
I'm not going to ask.
No, just, you know, it's going to be like who we thought was going to end the streak. And there was two people I thought were going to end the streak, both down to favoritism. They're very
We'll come
obvious.
to that.
They're very
We'll
obvious.
come to it.
Yeah, corporate staff. I suppose, like, you know, we know that Dean Ambrose is no longer with us in WWE. He's not
Rest
dead.
in peace.
He's not dead. He's very much an active wrestler.
he is thriving.
Yeah, is he a champ? No, he's not. He's not holding.
He's
any
not
belts.
a champ, but he bleeds every week, so he's very happy.
Yeah, he's literally like, you don't see pictures of him like
Not
not bleeding.
bleeding.
Like, it's like, fuck me, man. Like, you alright? Like, you're not gonna become like anemic or anything. Like,
And then you see him out and about. He's got no stitches in his head. He's smiling. He's with his missus, the beautiful Renee Paquette, who fantastic interviewer. Just a brilliant journalist.
which is weird
in a
because
way.
let's be honest, he does look like a beat up redneck.
Yeah, which does favours for me. I'm happy with that.
You're better looking than Dean Ambrose, bro. I'm gonna tell you that. Or
That's
John Moxley, whatever the fuck his name is.
That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. We have the same hairline as well, so it's even better.
You've got more colour. I think, you know, if anything, being ginger works to your advantage a lot. You know, you've got more colour to you than most.
If this podcast works, it does, because it shows I have a sense of humour. Whereas he just gets bloodied. So he's like, anyone can do that. I can do that.
Oh, he's a bodybuilder, is he?
Oh, he's got loads of free time. I see.
But
He's
yeah,
fat and funny.
so like,
Oh,
not because I don't want anyone to think that we're discriminating people that are not, you know, main WWE talent. Like, I am interested in John Moxley, but it's hard to follow him. It's harder to follow him than it is
Yes.
the others, because obviously he departed. When did he leave? Do you know when he left?
I'd be inclined to say early 2019.
So he had a good run. He had a long run.
He had a good run, and there were some real highlights in there. For example, 2016, he was kind of, him and AJ Styles were the face of SmackDown, and this was when SmackDown was, I know it is now because of the Bloodline, but it was the A brand. It was a fantastic show, really well booked. They'd just gone live.
For the record, there was many periods where SmackDown was the A brand. You know,
Yeah.
I'd say SmackDown was the A brand during the Reign of Terror. Because
It's not hard to
It
beat.
was the only way to escape
Yeah.
Triple H. It was the only way.
Oh, it's Zach Gowen. Oh, he's getting beat. I love seeing Pete Cripples get beaten up. Oh, it makes me so
I was
much
like, oh, do you
happier.
want to see Triple H headlining again, opening Raw, or do you want to watch, I don't know, Big Show versus Rey Mysterio? Let's watch that instead, shall we? Dumb as
Yeah.
fuck. How is Rey beating him? Ah, no, just kayfabe.
I don't know.
Just allow it. Just allow it.
Let me escape for a little while.
Better than watch this fucking guy fucking the boss's daughter, getting everything he fucking wants. Bastard.
We say all this, and then he does a really good booking decision. Oh, I love him. I love that Triple H. What a guy. Thank God he doesn't really do really weird things with women.
Thank God.
Thank God he's married to a woman who looks weirdly like Vince McMahon.
Really?
Oh, I see it.
I don't see it. You know, I felt it's another tangent. I've come around to Stephanie. I'm just like, my entire childhood, I just sort of just ignored and somewhat hated her because she was McMahon. Now I'm 30 years old. And I'm like, was I fucking stupid? Like, Stephanie was hot this entire time. Not
She had
like
a good body.
she's not like a 10 out of 10, but I'm saying she was never unattractive. She was never an unattractive woman, which is crazy to me because my childish mind chose kayfabe over her looks. Like I was like, fuck her. She's the boss's daughter. She's married to Triple H. I hate her. She's
What
ugly.
a heel.
She's ugly, and now I'm like, damn. What the fuck was I on?
But I just see her as being in goblin mode all the time.
Nah, you're still in the kayfabe, bro. Step back. Take a step back and just see her as
It's the smile.
neutrally as a woman. You can't deny that she's not like a very attractive woman.
Yes. I would be very lucky to pull a woman like her.
I'd even go as far as say she's far older than she was when she was younger.
Oh. All I can say to that is she's aged very well.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And I respect her. I really respect
100%.
her. More than I respect Vince.
And I say this because I feel like she wasn't really much of a wrestler. Because I can't be like, oh yeah, she was a sick wrestler, low key. She was, I don't know, she took bumps.
She deserves more appreciation than she gets. Because as short as her ring career was, there was an evolution there.
Was she women's champion once?
Sadly, yes. She didn't deserve it.
Nepotism.
How could that have happened? Speaking of evolution, so we go back to that solo career of each one of them. So we've gone through Seth. At that time, Roman was pretty much burying everyone.
Really?
Yeah.
Can we talk about Roman in a bit more depth? Because I'll be honest with you, even now, I haven't been sold on why this guy is so big, aside from the fact that he's part of a ridiculously good bloodline. It's like, which at its core is like, is that bloodline even that good? I know, controversial. But I'll be honest with you, it comes down to a few things. I hate his theme. I hate his signature moves. And I don't, as I've said before, I prefer people that are quite technical. So I'm like, what is actually so good about Roman Reigns? Because a spear and a Superman punch, honestly, I hate them. The spear is one of the most overused finishers of all time.
Yes.
And I was already done with the spear when Edge was using it. I was like, how is he using the spear? Like,
he has the worst spear edge.
He does. He really does. And I don't even like Roman's. I don't think he makes it. He doesn't elevate. Like, it's almost like with the frog splash, because of the way that like you take off and like, people with different sort of airtime can do different spins on it. You got your Eddies to your RVDs to your D'Lo Browns. Like that move can actually be mixed up and made to look more interesting. It's just a splash in there. You're jumping and you're just landing over someone. So it's almost like it's what you're doing in that airtime. The spear, it's like you just run them, you spear them, and they hit. And it's really down to how they sell it and how convincing you can make not actually armbarring someone in the stomach. And I'm like, I hate this move, man. And the Superman punch is one of the most like kayfabe looking moves of all time.
It is bad.
It
is bad.
A punch? Are we really trying to sell a punch as a finishing move in wrestling? The thing where we fake punches?
You got to make sure you got an open fist when you punch someone. By the way, that's my finishing move. It's the equivalent again.
So what makes it special? Well, he jumps in the air.
Yeah. He's the big dog.
It's like, okay, but it doesn't even look like a real punch. Yeah, but it's a Superman punch. It's got Superman in the title.
Yeah.
And these are the sole reasons I really struggle with Roman. I'm like, if he just had two different finishers, I think I'd like him just that little bit more. That, and I think his theme song is balls. It's so boring. I don't know why I put a headphone on just to hear you do that. Just that little bit
Hit
more.
Me with it. Going, oh, yeah. That's the one.
No, for real. Like, other than that, like, I'd like him on the mic. I do like him wrestling. I've watched a couple of Roman matches, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's like I said, it's really the finishers to me, which your finishers, if your finishers and your entrance suck to me, then that's sort of hard for you to be a good superstar.
Yeah. It's a first impression, but one that happens every week.
Because there's people that have been sort of bad, but even their finishes were somewhat exciting.
Yeah.
Fucking Al.
Spike Dudley. The sliced bread is fucking great.
I was like, even I was about to say, even Al Snow had a good finisher.
What does everybody want? Actual good wrestling.
He had like some sort of like inverted like drop. I remember it being somewhat interesting. It was cool.
It was probably called the snow drop, wasn't it?
It was the snow drop, 100%.
was.
I can't remember what the actual movie was doing, but it was basically like he just inverted something. But it's something
Was it an inverted DDT?
No, it was more something else. It was cool though. It was something cool. Like, it looked cool back then. Point being, for a wrestler who is the Universal Champion in 2023,
For 3 years.
finishing people with a fucking spear. A fucking spear. He still calls it. At least Rhino called it the gore. For fuck's sake. At least that was a spin, a lazy one at that. It's like, I'm just calling it something different. It's like the 5-star frog splash over the frog splash. It's like, you're doing literally the same thing. What are we doing here? It's like Kane's choke slam from hell. It's like,
I forgot it was the choke slam from hell. I was thinking it's the choke slam 14 from fucking Here Comes the Pain.
To be fair, I will say this. Kane's choke slam was always better than Undertaker's.
Yes, but it was always Kane's finishing move. It wasn't really Undertaker's.
Yeah. Better than who? Someone else had a choke slam and it was fucking...
The Hurricane.
No, worse. I feel it was like... Was it not Boss Man? Big Boss Man had a choke slam and it was
we
like...
don't talk about Boss Man.
But he crashed a funeral.
Yeah, that was his best moment.
Yeah, better than his finisher.
The rest just made me want to say fry like bacon.
But anyway, I feel like this turns like, oh yeah, let's talk about Roman, and I just shit all over his wrestling.
We got to lighten the mood by talking about Dean Ambrose.
Yeah,
that's always a bad sign when you got to lighten the mood by talking about Dean Ambrose.
So like we talked about, he had a 7-year run, and he was somewhat more of like a hardcore deathmatch guy.
Yeah. And they could never achieve that in WWE.
Yeah, because they were going PG and trying to like, hardcore's gone.
Yeah.
Hardcore is gone from WWE.
Maybe the Attitude Era will come back. But it is PG right now. It's PG. It's very much for kids.
Still PG?
Yeah. It's like PG-13, PG-14.
But they're showing colour, as they call it.
He's bleeding. He's bleeding, Maggle.
I love you go straight to actually blading your head. He's bleeding. He's bleeding, everybody. Like, that's not what happens. If anything, I will give them fucking respect for that. Like, blade work is done very interestingly. Like, I was intentionally looking for the moment that Brock bladed at Backlash. Was it Backlash? No. Yeah, it was Backlash, yeah, where he fucking bled like crazy.
I thought it was legit. That's what I've heard. I might be full of shit, but I heard it was like they did it on purpose to make it as legit as possible. But that's also because Brock is a fucking incredible worker.
Okay, so what I read from my looking at behind the scenes was that, like, obviously it wasn't like greenlit or anything, but it also essentially Brock Lesnar is one of the people that like, oh, if Brock wants to do it, then yeah, we're not going to punish Brock. If someone like in the mid card does that and we didn't know, yeah, they're getting
You're
fucked.
gone.
You're gone. But like, oh, Brock Lesnar does it. Brock and Cody planned this, and we didn't know. Yeah, like they get away with it because we can't not have Brock Lesnar. So
we have too many UFC fans in the world now saying Brock Lesnar's a pussy, even though he ran the sport for a good 2 years.
but
If you don't respect Brock Lesnar on this planet, you are a fucking moron, and you deserve whatever fate he decides on you.
Yeah, it's actually one of the things that makes me cringe a little bit because it's quite funny. I was explaining this to my partner again. We watched wrestling together, and there's like, I'm always like commenting on the commentary and like how much shit they actually chat.
Yeah.
Like, even going out to lying about numbers in the arena and shit like that. But like, the one thing I actually remember saying, I was like, no, for real, I know that they like inflate things about the talent, but I was like, when they say Brock Lesnar is one of the most decorated, okay, he's not one of the most decorated athletes in sports, but he does deserve a fucking load of respect.
Yeah.
Because outside of kayfabe, what you don't realize is him in the UFC was a fucking challenge. Like, there were, and I've seen docs, like, there were fighters in UFC that wanted to go for Brock to fuck him up, to prove that, like, someone from something like wrestling, which was in their world seen as, like, acting, bullshit, fake, something that, like, is nowhere near as intense as actually fighting, and for him to become the UFC champion in spite of all of that, despite the fact that people there did not want him to be there and were literally out for blood. Like, you know, people, I remember his first match he lost, and I remember the guy.
It's Cain Velasquez.
I don't remember the name, but I remember the guy. I remember him saying that, like, he literally watched wrestling and studied Brock's weaknesses. Like, okay, this guy's all top heavy. I'm gonna make him tap in real life. That's exactly what he went for.
Genius.
He just went for Brock's legs, and like, do you know what Brock did? He worked on his groundwork to make sure that no one could make him tap ever again, and that's how he became UFC. Because blow for blow, you are not beating Brock Lesnar in a fucking boxing match.
Fuck up.
You're not really out grappling him that well unless you really are like Khabib level good, especially if he starts working on that shit. And that's why he got so fucking good, because he was like, okay, I'm not losing like that ever again.
You humiliated him. And you've ruined it for everyone else in the process.
In fact, you fucked up by exposing his weakness in his first match, because then that wasn't his weakness ever again.
Was it Frank Mir?
I don't know. I really can't remember. As in, like, I watched it as it happened. I just remembered it. I just remembered those details. This is calling me. She's like, it's 20 past 11.
We're only 20% through.
To be fair, like we've done a good about on the Shield,
Yeah.
because to be honest with you, I think I wasn't as ignorant to the Shield as I was the Miz. As in, like, I know to a degree why they're as good as they are, only because, like, compared to the Miz, it's like these were like three indie boys that were put together because of their hard work in the indie circuits, and like, okay, you know what? Let's take a risk. I'm sort of guessing, but I feel like to a degree, it's like, let's take a risk. Let's put you guys in a stable straight away and try and put you over, rather than just straight developing you.
Straight, like, in the mix.
Let's have you, like, you know, because there is that type of push where, like, you're just a disruptive force. It's like, if you're an unknown disruptive force, like, for example, let's go back to like the NWO when they were introduced, like
the outsiders,
literally, like, but it's like, but you knew who Hulk Hogan and fucking. You know, you knew who these fuckers were. Like, they were three big names from this business from like a decade ago, and they're back using this you know. But that angle worked. It's like three guys from the indies and development doing this. That's a risk, and like fair fucking play that it worked. And like, even after breaking them up, which again, by the sounds of it, the angle of that was like risky as well. It's like, okay, one is going to betray them. We're going to break up this stable. We don't know whether this stable works out individually, or it was actually only the stable that actually got them over.
And it took a long time to find that out. They all had moments, and they were all stars, and the show always went on. But only now do we realise, maybe a couple of years ago, these are the guys. And they had it spot on when they picked those guys. Because you know what? Originally, as much as you hate him, Roman Reigns wasn't going to be in that group. It was going to be Cassius Ohno. Do you know who Cassius Ohno is?
There's a guy, someone I follow, who does a really good who? Who?
It was fucking Chris Hero.
I still don't know.
Exactly.
Exactly. It would have been him being hit by a chair, and you'd be like, who?
Yeah. And we would never speak about the Shield. We would never speak about where they've gone. We would never talk about this fucking 1,000-day title reign. It's fucking absurd.
It's crazy. It's like gobbledygooker crazy. Yeah. Like
this was
gobbledygooker potential crazy, like alternate reality.
Just wait until you hear the fact that the Undertaker was supposed to be the gobbledygooker.
No, that's why I know that. Oh. That's why I'm saying gobbledygooker level crazy.
I've been shunned.
It's like in the alternate reality where they were like, Mark, put on the suit. Get in the egg, Mark. Get in the fucking egg. And he's like, are you sure? I've got this whole mortician thing. I've got this guy called Paul, and he's gonna.
It'll never work.
Nah, we don't need no mortician. Get in the egg.
I just got done for mansplaining. But
listen, I'm an old head. The old stuff. It's the new stuff I don't know as well.
These kids. But you know what? In that case, I think we've been pretty solid on what we've covered tonight. So we should end it on something a little bit more lighthearted. We've been here last week as well. It's currently 1-0 to me.
Oh God, here we go again.
But we actually have a name for it this week. I don't know if you saw the the options in the notes.
No, did you put them in the notes?
I did,
Did
yeah.
you put spoilers in the notes? No,
Yeah.
I looked at next week's notes, so what we're going to talk about next week. So I've got that in my brain, but I've already forgotten. Wait, are you trying to show me?
No, I was going to need you to fucking undo it.
I'll just touch it.
Oh, thanks, Pookie. Right.
But no, I didn't. I genuinely didn't. If I have, I didn't remember.
Now, I personally have actually come up with a name for this segment, and it's such good shit.
It's such good shit.
Based on Vince's actual fucking catchphrase that he used backstage, as referenced by Bray Wyatt in a match I feel like you've not seen, but we're going to come to that. We're not going to divulge onto other topics this time.
Not Wyatt, not yet.
So, Zach, what is the fake gimmick here?
Oh God!
And what did Vince actually propose to his backroom staff? So, you know who Bob Holly is?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hardcore Holly, Bob Holly, absolute tosser.
Another one in the. You know, I know he's a dick. Actually, I saw the. I don't know if you've seen. Have you seen the Louis Theroux on wrestling?
Yes.
Where he fucks Louis Theroux up because he.
Is that the WCW one?
No, it's just on wrestling. Louis Theroux on wrestling.
Okay.
And he actually gets invited. He meets Farouk and Hardcore, Bob Holly and
Right.
yeah. The long and short being like, he doesn't like Louis Theroux style. He really does not like Louis Theroux style of journalism, and really doesn't take kindly to him and sort of fucks him up a bit unnecessarily. He gets a bit rough, and it's so awkward and so bad that Farouk apologizes on behalf of Holly. He's like, I'm sorry, man. Like, he doesn't, because he gets into it deep about, like, is it fake? Is it fake, though? But is it fake? And, like, you could tell I'll show you if it's fucking fake. I'll fucking, and puts him in, yeah. You've seen Louis Theroux. He's a skinny man.
Yeah.
Bob Holly is
Proper
Bob Holly.
Like,
yeah, so it's a bit uncomfortable. But yes, I know Bob Holly. I know Bob Holly well.
I'd like to take a moment to say we on this podcast love Farouk. We love Ron Simmons. You deserved way better. Fuck Bob Holly. But yeah, so Bob Holly, Hardcore Holly, that was his iconic thing. I wouldn't call it iconic. That was his thing. But they were originally going to repackage him. It was probably about 98, roughly or so. And you know what they're going to do with him? They were going to make him astronaut Hardcore Holly.
As in, just Hardcore Holly, but an astronaut.
Yeah.
What has he been?
A literal astronaut. He'd come out in a spacesuit with a monkey because monkeys went to space, and he'd be an astronaut.
Well, with a chair and everything.
Yeah. I'd like to imagine, I can't say this for certain, but I'd like to imagine he just slow-mo, like, moon gravity hit people. Maybe if he did that, he wouldn't get his neck broken by fucking Brock.
That's probably because he was a cunt.
Yeah, he fucking deserved it.
I felt bad for that because, like, he still got a receipt for that. Well, yeah, I say that like, oh, the man's a cunt. Should have just let someone break his neck.
It's fine. He got a world title shot. It's fine. He lost.
To be fair, Brock broke it. The way Brock broke his neck was pretty savage. I've seen it.
Yeah, that power bomb.
Do you know what's funny? I actually feel like I saw that show, as in like as it was normally supposed to be aired, and just never really clocked.
What, on like Sky One?
Yeah, genuinely. I remember Brock's like going back to what I said about Kurt. I remember I was there for Brock Lesnar's debut, 100%. I fully remember Brock Lesnar from start to finish.
Yeah, when he came out with fucking Paul Heyman.
Yeah, man,
that was an era.
Like I said, like I sent you that clip about like him and Shelton coming out. I was like, I remember seeing that for the first time, and I was like, shit, that was his debut. Like,
but that was like a year before he like proper came out.
Yeah, then it was just him solo, and even Cena. I never mentioned him. I was like, it should be because I remember Cena versus Angle. I watched that match like as it was aired in the UK for the first time. Fully remember that match. I was young.
You were young, and you had no idea what you're in for.
Okay, so we're talking astronaut, hardcore Holly.
The other option I have for you is Ron Simon, Farouk, Black Skinhead. So,
Just that, black skinhead.
Black Skinhead. It was immediately after The Rock had sort of taken over the Nation of Domination.
Okay.
And the immediate idea was Farouk was panicking. So he kind of just went down a deep rabbit hole.
And just goes like, what? Like, black skinhead, militant, black lunatic.
The opposite. He was a white supremacist.
Oh, God.
One of the great black wrestling champions of all time, someone who deserved way much better, was he was going to go full on white supremacist because his own black liberation group had thrown him out.
Okay, so what? Immediately, I'm now just comparing the two ideas. I'm like, okay, well, this is Attitude Era we're talking about already. So nothing is off is off the fucking cards. Nothing is off the cards, Attitude Era. Like
right.
astronaut hardcore Holly versus black white supremacist. Equally as valid when we're talking about the Attitude Era. Like, especially late actually. Because like the early phase, especially in the 90s, was like, you know, we talked about this already. Like in the 90s, I feel like that's when gimmicks really started to like, there was no rules. They were like, listen, we've had the experimental phase where we're like, yeah, some of these work, some of these don't. And now we're thinking, listen, if you're charismatic enough, anything can work. You could be a dead man. You could be an ass man. What does that even mean? Wrestling terms. An ass man. It's so
We're all ass men.
fuck.
I mean, I'm more of a tits man, but I still, at the same time, I'm an ass man. Pew pew.
My point being, you know, literally using that as an example, ass man sounds more ridiculous than astronaut hardcore Holly or black white supremacist. So I'm at a loss, man. Like, both are insane but valid. So I'm gonna go with. I think the black white supremacist is more real than astronaut hardcore Holly.
Really? Why? Why? Why do you think that?
Because it's Vince McMahon, and if there's anything he likes to do, then be like overtly racist, is putting black people in compromising positions whilst he's in a position of power.
You do it for me. That kind of mentality.
He's like, you know what? I'm gonna make you do something that you can't say no to because I'm white and you're boss and you're black. So, and that's my logic.
So, you've made the decision. The answer is Vince McMahon promoted the idea of Bob Holly as the hardcore astronaut.
No! Why am I losing these?
Because I'm so good at it! I understand Vince!
You understand my understanding of Vince, I think it's also what's working here very well.
But your understanding of Vince is what we all know. And it's what we should have recognized about 12 years old, 20 years old.
Fucking madman.
Yes. It's what we love about him, but what we should fear about him as well.
I think, like I said, I pretty much said, it's the Attitude Era. So either one of these are equally valid. Like, the man's insane. The shit that he, you know, the fact that neither of these came to light is like, okay, fair enough. They're both bad, but like, look at what he did green light. The amount of insane shit he fucking allowed to happen.
The fucking ding-dongs. The dicks. This is the kind of thing...
The ass man!
Boo! Boo!
I can't wait for that. It's the ass man! It's funny because I feel like I'm shitting on the ass man, but I genuinely was like, basically speaking of him positively to my girlfriend when I was playing his theme song. She's like, what is this? Like, oh, this is one of the best gimmicks of all time.
Yeah. We don't know anything about it other than he loves ass.
Like, I almost want to do a whole segment, but I'm just going to give a shout out to it now. how progressive was Billy Gunn when you think about it? The man in the 90s took on the gimmick of ass man, something that, you know, redneck America would not have been loving. Let's be honest.
No.
And man saying he's an ass man, his whole thing, he changed his finisher to being the assinator. Like, his whole thing was just butts, be it gay or straight. There was always this subtle ambiguity to it as well. Like, was he gay or straight? I don't know. He's just saying he's an ass man. It's kind of weird.
He's not in it to explain it to you. He's in it to just let you know he loves ass.
You know, you convince yourself, nah, he's definitely straight. He's one of the New Age Outlaws. He's in DX. Like, he's definitely straight. And then Billy and Chuck happened.
I feel like if both cameras were working right now, we'd both just be staring straight into them.
And then Billy and Chuck happened. Which is something... Okay, so, you know, it's 2023. Let's give it that context. Me and my partner are interracial. Very open-minded. So, for me, trying to sell wrestling to her, Billy and Chuck and Rico are a fucking massive selling point. This is a girl that loves Drag Race. I'm like, oh, by the way, in the early 2000s, there was a straight-up kayfabe gay couple. They weren't even gay men in real life. That's how progressive WWE has always been. And that's always why I want to end this note. I say wrestling's crazy and shit and dumb as fuck, but you know what? Sometimes, just sometimes, they show us they're very forward-thinking. Somehow, maybe accidentally, or maybe for the sake of the gimmick and for the sake of trying to get over, but they sometimes are very forward-thinking.
And that's why we look forward to what wrestling is going to teach us next. Not just about ourselves, but about the society we live in.
I feel like we didn't get into the astronaut Holly thing, but I feel like it is insane enough. I'll accept it. I'll accept it.
Oh, it's fucking stupid.
Stupid as
It's
fuck.
awful.
Like, is it as bad as Blueface Christian? I'm not sure. Do you know what's funny? I actually saw something about Blueface Christian 2 days ago. I was like, how did you ask me this week? I would have known Blueface Christian was a thing. But I don't know. It makes me think that maybe our phones are listening to us and the algorithms are just constantly paying attention. Because I'm like, it was in my wrestling themes, like wrestling feed, and it was like, came up as like, why Blueface Christian? And I was like, it's like it's seen my podcast already.
They know.
I was like, damn. I was like, fuck, he didn't make it up. But that is even more disappointing to me about the Mr. Socko thing. But okay, the real Mr. Socko.
I'm still very proud of the Mr. Socko.
That's a fucking... Honestly, you deserve a medal for that one. It was convincing. It's Attitude Era convincing.
Luckily for me, both of these have been very, very Attitude Era convincing.
You've got to keep this up. That's all I'm saying, man.
I'm looking forward to it. I will start the work very soon. Don't overthink it. But this has been the SmarkZ podcast with myself,
5 hours later,
Stephen Copeland, and my colleague,
Zachary Kundi.
Thank you, I couldn't say it.
Good night, motherfuckers.
Be good. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.